What is happening right now today with the vectors of Hezbollah, Diddy, Trump, assassination attempts, it is mind blowing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the e-ticket ride to your brain. Before I begin, let me first of all thank you for being here. Let me also ask you to make sure to ensure for you to verify through approbation and a collective assent that you are hearing me perfectly, that I am clear. I am, as we say in the business, 5 by 5. So as to avoid anybody from saying that you are not able to hear me, it's sounding tinny, it's sounding in some particular way offensive to your auditory norms. I trust I'm good. Hillbilly gives us the okay. That's all I need. If Hillbilly says it's okay, it's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for being a part of who we are right now. It is such a pleasure to be with you. I can't say it enough. I really can't. It is such a pleasure to be here. But ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, let me say to you, first of all, without any further delay, that it is imperative, it is absolutely mandatory that you take this time and listen very carefully to the words of our great sponsor. There's a revolution happening right now above our heads. It's about to make silver more precious than ever. The sun's power is taking over the world. It's growing so fast, it'll be the biggest source of electricity by the 2030s. Solar. Listen carefully. Here's the kicker. Every single solar panel needs silver to work. We're talking about a silver paste web in every panel, turning sunlight into power. Smart investors are already making their move, and that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. With a silver IRA, you can surf this incredible wave of growth. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House or what Wall Street does, because solar power is unstoppable, and silver is its secret weapon. As the world goes green, your retirement could be going sterling silver. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers in 2024. Visit LionelNationGold.com. You may get up to 10 free brand new 1-ounce silver Trump coins. I love the sound of that. Or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with every qualifying IRA. That's LionelNationGold.com. LionelNationGold.com. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. My friends, let me say to you first a programming note immediately following this show at 8 p.m. I direct you over to Mrs. L's channel, because what she is able to tell you regarding the arrest of one P. Didro Combs will absolutely it will cause you to lose your mind. This is a huge day today. This is one of those days where you say, my God. I'm only going to say something first before we get to Diddy, before we get to Trump and everything. Did you see what happened regarding the pagers in Hezbollah, or in Lebanon, regarding Hezbollah? Are you seeing this? Do you know what this means if it was done? This is at a level of, I don't want you to call it double cross, contamination, outsmarting, whatever you want. It's reminiscent of this fellow called the Engineer. The Engineer years ago was a fellow who was responsible, putatively, allegedly, who was responsible for a number of attacks on Israelis and the like. So they wanted to get this guy. I forget if he was PLO, or forgive me if I don't know the particular name of it. So somehow, by virtue of getting a hold, I believe it was a relative or somebody, they got a hold of his phone. And they had his phone somehow. Because they got it, and they rewired it with some type of Semtex C4, some explosive. And then they got it back to him through a cousin or through somebody, so that they called him on the phone and then detonated. And it was the theory being, it's not that we dispatched you. It's not that we dispatched you. It's that we did this in a way where you can't ever feel safe. Now you say Pegasus is the name of the operation. You mean this operation or the operation of the other one, Pegasus? Pegasus. This is the operation. Again, we don't. Pegasus operation, military operation, Lower Rhine, village of Renkum. No, this is in the Netherlands. This was also 1944. I believe that particular name might have been used for a series of operations, as we say. In any event, the reason why pagers were used, is that it was believed that cell phones provide homing systems, a variety of targeting. So for security reasons, these pagers that everyone used for information, somehow it appears, and I don't believe there's been any formal acceptance of responsibility for this, but somehow someone apparently got to the manufacturers of these en masse and had them all equipped with these devices. So now let me tell you something. And I only want you as an American to think this, because we have a lot to talk about what's going on in this world. And yes, the Diddy case is bigger than anything you can imagine. It's true. But I want you to answer this particular question. When something like this turns into a colossal reaction, negative, dangerous, hostile, warlike, whatever the particular phrase is. Imagine Kamala as being the person theoretically involved in dealing with this, dealing with an angry, a furious Hezbollah, etc., trying to negotiate, trying to play both sides. Just remember this. We can talk all we want about her. We can laugh all we want about her. We can say, oh, isn't it funny? She can't put two words together. She can't answer a question. Yeah. But there are very serious people in the world, very dangerous people in the world, who will take advantage of this idiocy and will view what she is doing, will view her. What am I trying to say? It will view her ineptitude as a sign of weakness. And that's bad for us. Just remember that. This is not a joke. Some people may think, oh, these people are kind of cool. It's like, okay, you might think this is cool, and you might think this is interesting, and it might very well be. But this is incredibly dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, Matt Cawthon is a new member. Let's give Matt a resounding round of applause. Matt, thank you. It's JTE says Pegasus is the name of the operation. Carla, the cooking CEO, says Hollywood couldn't have done better. Let us see. This is not going to be met kindly. The Brad says, you think Diddy will get bail? I don't think he will. No, he will not get bail. He will not get bail. Sorry, he will not. Nor should he. And finally, Pegasus was created by his NSO group. I see. Now, thank you, sir. Let us begin. First and foremost, and listen very carefully, dear friends. Diddy Combs is not some rapper, not some entrepreneur, not a hip hop artist, not some black unimportant rich guy with a, with a gold ring and a lot of loot. No, 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 no. This was a man who was placed in this position over a period of time, a man who was known affectionately as Pimp Daddy. People who, for whatever reason, and we can guess all we want, people who were targeted, picked out, selected, um, in recruited, I don't know, to serve a different purpose. The reason why he is important, the reason why is that he represents a faction of the country, namely the hip hop community, and it's not just black folks, which is about 14% of the population. That is not it. What he's talking about is something a little bit different. What the leaders of the world want is to be able to control contingents of these people. If you were in a part of a city where there was a huge Colombian population or Korean, you would want to be able to infiltrate that as well. Not because you have anything for them one way or the other, but to own that, to be able to go in, lure these rich. And let me tell you something. I don't know if this is what is classically what racism really is. But these folks who run the show, the shadow government, deep state, they have such absolute contempt for black people. They use them, they mistreat them, they don't care for them. They pat them on the head, and deep down inside, they will tolerate them. If you believe for 1 minute that the white establishment groups of people have any interest in getting to know Diddy, you're out of your mind. I remember one time there was a bar in the city that I think Jay-Z, oh, that's the guy I'm putting my money on because of his power and his potential. Same thing with Beyonce. But in any event, there was a story where Warren Buffett was in town and somehow they were hanging out. Warren Buffett hanging out with Jay-Z, couple of rich dudes. And I thought to myself, if you think that Warren Buffett has anything, and by the way, it's not, how do I say this? It's not that there's a desire, it's not out of racism, it's out of a societal class system. And it works the other way around. Do you think that Diddy and these folks want to hang around Warren Buffett? If Warren Buffett didn't have all that money, no. This is all posturing. This is a bunch of people who can't stand each other. And what you have to understand too is with a lot of folks, and listen to what I'm saying, you have a lot of folks in the hip hop community who basically are, in many respects, same thing goes for a lot of folks in the old days of certain aspects of country music, semi-literate bumpkins who came along and had an incredible talent, but deep down inside could be played, could be cajoled, wheedled, lured. Same thing with black athletes. It's been the longest story. It's the same thing now. Lure in young athletes, have them lose everything, mortgage their ass. Oh, and it's not just black, it's the world of sports. Freedom says, don't give a flying flip at my age what the liberals say or think about Trump or what Diddy has done. Trump will win if it's a free and fair election. That's all that matters right now. Indeed, sir. But if you think that this is just some kind of some little version of Fatty Arbuckle, if you honestly think that this is just doesn't really matter, oh no, you're missing it big time. This guy is going to soil himself when it hits. When they say they're taking all your money and you don't mean anything. Oh, would I love to be the guy who talks to him. Oh, oh. Remember all these guys in the mob who swear, the omerta. You know that? All the ones in the mob, the mafia. They'll see it. It's omerta because the accent's on the A, not omerta. Omerta. You got it? Daddy Dump is going to prison. Indeed. There was this group of folks who said, we pledge to this life. You've seen this before? And they always talk about it. And I think they might have gone into it. I was raised in the streets and I was in this life. And you don't rat. You're a rat. Who's a rat? You're a rat. Okay. And you believe this. This is not Cosa Nostra. This is not the way we were raised. Okay, good. Then you sit down and you say, hi, how are you? Sammy the Bull or Mikey Scars or whoever the hell that is. Nelson A says, J-Lo, watch out. Delph with Diddy. We'll see, J-Lo. I'm not. Jay-Z is the one and others. And we'll just see about this. But let me go back to this. And thank you, Nelson. You sit down with somebody and you say, so you pledge fealty to this thing, right? This thing of ours, right? You pledge to this life. Never a rat. Well, guess what? He's ratting on you. And you're going to be the only one holding the bag. What do you think about that? How do you like that? So go ahead. Maintain. Doesn't matter to me. But this guy's walking. And he's going to start all over again. And he's going to go on Witsack or something like that. And he'll end up, and who knows? Now everybody's going out and they'll come out. They'll have a nice vodka line. They'll do a podcast. It's really interesting how a lot of these legitimate racketeers and gangsters and tough guys are not doing podcasts. Some of them are excellent. Some of them are really good, great storytellers. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell is, when you find yourself and you're looking around and go, what am I doing? So yeah, you go ahead and you keep your mouth shut, but they're laughing their ass off on you. They're laughing, and nobody's going to take care of your kids, and nobody's going to take care of your family and all that work and all your businesses. They're taking and they're stealing. So how do you like that, Mr. Gangster, Mr. Capone? How do you like that? Well, same thing with Diddy. Well, Diddy, how you doing there, pal? Have your lawyer come in. The story was they were sent. I don't know who this lawyer is. It doesn't matter who I am. I don't know anything about him. And I hate when lawyers talk bad about other ones. Well, I would have done this and I would have done that. And you don't know what the hell you're. You have no idea what it's like to work with him as a client. You have no idea. You don't know anything. But for some particular reason, it seemed that he came to New York to deal with the prosecutors. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That maybe he was there to work with prosecutors. I'm saying, hold it. Wait a minute. Did I hear this correctly? To work with we came in and I'm reading this stuff and I'm thinking to myself, Diddy was to meet with, I think, SDNY prosecutors, Southern District of New York prosecutors. He was going to, let me see. He was taking advantage of last night. There was this idea that he was here, and I don't understand. Well, let me just get to the bottom line. If people take this the wrong way, or maybe they're taking it the correct way, the first thing I'm saying is, wait a minute. Why is he coming here to meet with prosecutors? Wait a minute. What? Meet with prosecutors? What do you want to meet with prosecutors for? You never do anything beneficial unless you're going to flip. or unless you become a rat or whatever the particular word is, you're meeting with prosecutors? If this story is correct, why was he here? He was out with Central Park. They're out looking around, this and that. And if he did, his lawyer must be thinking, somebody double-crossed me. I don't know. I don't want to speak on it. All I'm saying is, wait a minute. Because the first thing I want to know is he a rat? Because you know and I know that Diddy can't keep his mouth shut. And when they scare him, because he's not a tough guy, nobody is. None of these people are. Suge Knight, unless you have been raised in, let me tell you one thing about folks in the Cosa Nostra, or Cosa Nostra, as they kind of like, conflate the term. When you are raised, you're from Ozone Park and you're from Woodhaven and Queens and all that stuff, and Howard Beach, and that's where the activity was. I think in Ozone Park there was one particular neighborhood where every alleged boss of every family lived like right there. I mean, you're raised in this from the time you're a kid, and your father, your uncle, your neighbor, they went away. They went to college. They came back. They did this. They did 1 year, 10 years, 20 years. They think nothing of it. Nothing of it. I mean, they don't want to, but everybody is. In fact, if you don't go away, if you don't do time, they're going to say, how come you're not doing any time? So they're raised with it. These guys aren't. Snoop and all the, I'm a gangster, I'm Ice Cube. Give me you would melt in federal prison with gangs. And oh, no. These guys go in there, Lewisburg and everything, ready to go. They meet others. It's a different lifestyle. But Sean Puffy Combs, no. So wait till they figure out, guess what? You're okay. This is from, as you know, the best 60 Minutes in the world is 60 Minutes Australia. This is a little sampling. You can see this online, but this is a bit of an amuse-bouche.
He's a monster. He's literally a monster.
The billionaire rapper.
I'm a savage! Oh!
Now facing some serious music.
This man is gonna go down.
Coming up on 60 Minutes.
I saw the aftermath, the bruises, the busted lip, knots on the head.
Sean Diddy Combs accused
sex party freak-offs. They allege that Diddy filmed it.
Of
freak-offs, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking Tupperware parties. By the way, Tupperware is going, I'm sorry to say it's another story, but freak-offs where they had thousands of bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Freak-offs. Did you hear what I said? 1,000 bottles of lubricant, baby oil. Women who, after these freak-offs, would have to have IVs administered, medical treatment. Oh, this is not a little bit of like, the Rat Pack. Rumor has it that, not rumor has it, but Sinatra in the old days and, the Rat Pack and they were wild. Oh, we're not talking that. Oh, no. This is different. This is tribal. This is dangerous stuff.
Shocking crimes against multiple women.
It's probably not the half of it.
And the evidence is
That's
dead.
right.
You expect to see Diddy in handcuffs?
I do. Each one of those charges carries with it a 25-year sentence.
Next. He's been known by many names over the years, from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy, even Love. But now, hip-hop megastar Sean Combs has...
Don't you love, seriously, can I just say something? I mean, I'm sorry. I love Australian people. New Zealand, sometimes I can't tell the difference. But when you hear this, isn't there a party that kind of laughs? Isn't it funny how, because maybe it's so crikey, there's something about it. Maybe because we're so limited. We don't know a lot of Australian people. we had Steve Irwin. We had, of course, Crocodile Dundee. Oh, good day, mate. Oh, it just doesn't, you know what I mean? There's this part that kind of makes these like, oh, it seems almost like, no, it's just horrible. There's something about it, but this is great. Look at lefties losing it. The Australians are just, I love them because they're demented. Anybody who starts off with basically a colony of ex-prisoners, these are my people. But there's something that seems like lyrical. If they were saying, like, put it this way, if I had somebody explain like an allocution, if ever I did something terrible in a court, I'd want somebody from Australia. It sounds quaint. Tell the jury what happened. Oh, he went outside and he took out a bunch of people and he did and chopped their heads off. Clean off. I mean, it sounds like you should have tie me kangaroo down. Just saying. I know I'm going to go too far with this, but there's something about it. He's through. Now, his lawyer, oh my God. His lawyer? I don't know what the hell this guy's doing. Let me tell you this much. First and foremost, if I represent you, here's what we're going to say. Nothing. Oh, mate. No, nothing. I want you to go away. You're being charged with racketeering, kidnapping, arson, drugs, sex trafficking, force, fraud, or coercion, physical. I mean, what am I going to say? Oh, come on, mate. It's a misunderstanding. I do the worst Australian accent. I'm sorry. It's embarrassing. I've never practiced it before. What are you going to say? What are you going to say? You always say this. We have not had time to review the charges, and any and all comments we'll make will be in a court of competent jurisdiction. But not now. The charges are serious, and you can understand that now is not the time or the place. Thank you. And we go away. And we don't say anything, because no matter what you say, you lose. You think these women, wait till you see the pictures. You think they're making this up? Go ahead, show them the pictures. Let's call witness number one. What's your name? State your name for the record. This is a young lady who came to this country, or not came to this country, came to New York, or who fell under the spell. Wait till Usher starts talking. Wait till Justin Bieber starts talking. Oh, I don't know how far we can go with this. On my private channel, I can kind of go a little bit deeper. You know those stories, right? Remember Cat Williams? Where's Cat Williams? Go back and watch Cat Williams with Shannon Sharp now. Listen to what he said about Diddy then. You don't do that unless somebody's saying, go ahead. It's all right. We'll give you a pass on that. Really? Yeah, I'll give you a pass on that. Go ahead. You're Diddy. You got nothing to worry about. So the first thing, I'm going to wait to hear about a young girl whose life was destroyed because all she wanted to do was to get in the music business and maybe buy her mother or grandmother a house and those stories. And then these vipers said, yeah, I can bring you your dreams. It makes Harvey Weinstein look like a drop in the bucket. And by the way, speaking of Harvey Weinstein, well, Weinstein's going to one day say, you know what? Let me say something. To you, stand up. I'm going to call you, and you. Stand up. All of these women were people who had allowed me to have my way with them. Nothing violent, nothing. But all of them, she got how many Oscars? And she got a deal, and she got a deal, and I came through. And they knew it. And that was a deal. Quid pro quo. This is a different story. But when you see some girl take the stand and she's going to be crying about how she had to go to psychological treatment and had to go to the emergency room, and Oh, and this lawyer, watch this lawyer. See what you think about this.
No, it's not planned. Certainly, it's not planned by us. I mean, he came here to surrender at a time agreeable to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and then they arrested him last night. I spent the evening with him. I was with him till about 1 o'clock. His spirits are good. He's confident. He is dealing with this head on, the way he's dealt with every challenge in his life.
Why is he saying this? What does he think this is? He's positive, head on. No matter what you say, you sound like a jerk.
And he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges. We know what the charges are going to be without seeing the indictment. It's going to be.
Listen to this. You you know what they are? Oh, okay. Why? What does that mean? Because how would you know that?
Racketeering. It's going to be sex trafficking. It's going to be things along those lines. This is what we've been expecting since the searches in March. He, to his great credit, he voluntarily came to New York. Not a lot of defendants do that. He came to New York to basically engage the court system and start the case. And
wait a minute, what does that mean? He came to engage the court system. What does that mean? What does that mean? Did you work out a bond? Did you sit there and say, listen, we're going to have him, my client's going to show up to engage the court system, which is ridiculous, because if they want him, they can pick him up wherever he wants, wherever he is. LA or here or whatever, depends. So long as he doesn't pull a Russell Simmons and go to where's Russell Simmons? Bali? Okay, well, see, Russell learned. So I don't understand this. So you came here and there was no bond that was worked out. You don't sit there and say, look, let's stipulate some. Now, I don't know what the particular rules are with this particular judge. I think it was a magistrate. I don't know. But in terms of a bond, can we say that you have no objection? If you listen to the AUSA, he or she is saying, oh no, this guy's going to flip. They're not going along with this. So what do you mean you showed up? It seems like they showed up for what? Normally like this, it's nice to sit there and say, look, we know what we know what you're going to do. Let's talk about bond. Give me a story I can then tell the court about, look at what we did. He even put up, I think, his mother's house and that sort of thing. And do you think that matters? Remember the notion of bond. There's two things that you care about. Number one is to ensure the appearance of the defendant. And number two, to protect the public. Okay, it gets better.
It'll start today. And he's going to plead not guilty, obviously. He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers. And I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs.
Do you think he'll be released?
I'm going to fight like hell to get him released, and he should be released with all that he's done and coming here voluntarily. And guys, I'm going to cut it short because I have to go in. All right? So thank you all very much.
Okay. This is later on. This is another one. This is little Harvey Levin.
So what can we expect if tomorrow doesn't go as planned?
We're going to keep fighting. We're going to fight till we get him out.
Now today was the initial appearance. I believe it was before a magistrate. So they said, we're going to appeal this tomorrow before a judge, and we're going to deal with the issue of whether bond should be granted. Normally, there have always been cases where bonds are normally secure. There is something. Hell, even the commission case. Remember the old days with Paul Castellano, and Fat Tony Salerno and Tony Ducks, all those, they all bonded out. They put up 2-3 million, in the so normally, but there's got to be things about surrendering passports and that sort of stuff, because that's a story. And where do you think he's going? MCC. And who was there? That name of that person we don't mention. That name of that person who took a dirt nap. You know how that one went.
Do you feel like the judge is gonna, change their mind from yesterday? I mean, what's the biggest change from today to tomorrow?
It's a different judge. It's a bail appeal, and we think we'll do well on appeal.
Do you know how many alleged victims there are in this case?
I only know of one, and it's the one in count 2. I don't know of anybody else.
And what's the legend of
It's sex trafficking.
And did anything allegedly happen here in New York or all LA and Miami area?
I believe it's certainly mostly LA and Miami.
Okay, does anything have a connection here to New York right now?
Basically, what they say the connection is he had his business here for a period of time.
And did anything happen at the recording studio?
No, nothing alleged. Nothing alleged.
Nothing alleged. Be careful when you say, did anything happen? He goes, nothing happened at all. So be careful.
Watch your back.
Were you offended that they were comparing this case to like R. Kelly and Jeffrey Epstein?
Nothing offends me. I've been a defense lawyer too long to be offended by anything.
What kind of help?
He's enjoying this thoroughly. He's enjoying this. That scares me.
Do we expect Diddy to get? Are we talking about rehab or?
About what was the question?
What kind of help are we expecting Diddy to get? Rehab or?
He's gonna get.
What? How does this Q&A help his client? How? I don't know who this woman is next to him. I don't know what her story is. She a lawyer? I have no idea. But how is this? How are you? And how are you thinking? Oh, God, this isn't fair. Doesn't he look like he's enjoying this?
He's getting help, and he's gonna do what he needs to deal with the situation.
What was the first thing that he said to you after he realized that he was going back to jail
That's attorney-client privilege. I'm not going to answer that question.
tonight?
I'll see you tomorrow.
What is this adjustment going to be like for him?
See, now what does that do? Flippant? Does he not care? Does he not get it? Does this help him at all?
The adjustment is going to be. He's never complained. He spent the night sleeping on a cement bench yesterday. Didn't complain.
He's okay. So he's not. So we shouldn't feel bad about him, right? He doesn't mind. He sleeps on the bench. He's okay. All right, good. Because we were going to let him out, but if it's no big deal, then we don't feel sorry for him anymore.
Said I'm happy to be here. I'm happy I'm in New York.
Are you worried about his safety? Is that why you guys wanted him out, or?
Well, listen, lady. The reason why you want to get out of is the same reason anybody wants. Anyway, well, but there is that story about that guy who.
I want him out because he should be out.
So safety's not an issue.
No, safety's not an issue.
Safety's not an issue. What are you going to do? No, we don't care about the safety. What? Or you? I think if I were P or Diddy, I'd say, "You damn right, my safety's an issue. What the hell are you doing?" I mean, this is a guy who, remember that other fellow whose name we don't mention. This is a guy who was friends with everybody up to and including Prince Andrew, the general overseers of Harvard University, and Diddy's got what? Who? Snoop? Who are your buddies? Who are you? I mean, this is not. Do you see how this? Why are you talking?
He should be out. He deserves to be out. It's the United States. You're innocent until proven guilty.
Are you concerned that this goes the way of Epstein?
No, I'm not. We're going to win this trial. We're going
to. Are you? Is this going to go the way of that other guy? No, we're going to win this one. That's not what I meant.
Win this trial because he's innocent.
Well, I'm talking about
like
how
suicide.
He was found dead.
No.
Whoa.
Oh, no. He's not. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
That's what that other fellow said.
So he's not despondent or anything.
No. Who is this woman next to him? Is anybody ask? Who's this Morticia Adams over here walking with her? Who is she? Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
No. He's a fighter, and he's going to fight.
Okay, this is the most stupid thing. I don't know why people do this. I have no idea. Okay, now we're going to move this. Remember, immediately after this, Mrs. L, who, by the way, she brings it. You should have seen her today with Nancy Grace. Oh, unbelievable. Dr. Dreamkiller says, I'm not supposed to say people are crazy, so I'll say this. There's a lot of brain pathology around here. Maybe I should start advertising. I don't know. We don't know. What is your, may I ask, what is your area of expertise? What is your practice area? I'm just curious, so I'll know how to better focus my particular areas. I'm glad you brought this up. There is no, how do I say this? There is mental illness requiring hospitalization and medication is one extreme. Okay. There are people who are walking around very unhealthy who are not in critical condition or terminal or whatever either. So you don't have to be dead. You don't have to be in a mental hospital to be crazy. But I would suggest this to you, sir, that the level, the variety, the multiplicity of personality disorders and interpersonal problems is off the charts. Do you hear what I'm saying? Off the charts, like we have never seen before. Okay? Like we have never seen. Because there's ours is kind of like a collective hysteria and the like. Waiting on my bullhorn. Indeed, my friends. Indeed. Let me say something right off the bat before I forget. I wanted to say this to you because it's very, very important. And I never forget the people that brought us to the dance, so to speak. And my dear friends, as I've told you, there are so many great, great folks out there who make us who we are. And we love our sponsors. And one of them, of course, is our good friends at My Patriot Supply with this website, preparewithlionel.com. Save $50 when you order today on a 4-week emergency food kit. It's a great introduction, an entree, dare I say, an hors d'oeuvre, or an amuse-bouche. And I mean that sincerely. Preparewithlionel.com. And also when it comes to luxuriation, being ensconced in the percales, from pillows to duvets to toppers to blankets to slippers to slides to you know who I'm talking about. Our great friends at mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. Order today. Use a credit card, preferably your own, but if it's somebody else's, whatever. Order everything they have and use promo code Lionel. I know you might get in trouble, but you're helping us. Preparewithlionel.com and mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel. Okay, my friends. Now, as you know, President Trump is going to win. I was going to play for you a little bit of Fredo Cuomo, but I can't because I get sick to my stomach because I don't know what the hell this guy is even talking about. This jadrul, this destarura. Okay? But as you know, these people are freaking out like you can't believe. They're trying everything. We're going to talk about Springfield. He can't talk about eating cats. Talk about eating cats. You don't understand. He's crazy. Dr. Dreamkiller says, I practice general neurology, but behavioral neurology in neuropsychiatry is my subspecialty. Strangely enough, I started my career as a trauma surgeon at the old Roosevelt Hospital on the West Side. Interesting. That's not too far from us. That's not too far from us. See, there are some things that I would love to put it this way. There are some disciplines I would rather talk about than have to deal. I don't think I'd be that much fun doing clinical work. If I could just talk about it, I don't want to have to deal with the people. It's far more interesting than to walk in and have to talk to this lunatic. I'd rather talk about lunacy in general. I'd rather wax philosophic, anent, and regarding the particular pathology and have to deal with these lunatics in the heartbeat. But thank you for that. Now, as you know, President Trump is driving them crazy. Now, this fellow that they have in, I would love, this sounds terrible. This sounds terrible. I don't mean it because I like what he did, but as a lawyer, I'd love to defend him. Not him, but the case. First of all, they're saying attempted assassin. Excuse me. Yes. We don't have any evidence of that. What? We don't have any evidence of that. He never fired a shot. What about the SKS, this Russian Russian. Russian. Yes, it's Russian. And what? Well, it might have been fixed with a scope. I was trying to explain to somebody, it's not the scope that makes it important. What makes it important is the firepower and the particular caliber and the size of the design of the long barrel. Dr. Dreamcolor says, my second week of work at Roosevelt, I was there when John Lennon died there. I have never recovered from seeing his body. Right across the street. We walk by that all the time. Now it's, what is the name of St. Roosevelt? Yeah, Mount Sinai. Whatever. I know Roosevelt. Yep. That's where across the street, right there at that entrance, when John Lennon, unbelievable. That is a day that, wow. In fact, the doctor who was there that day, who nobody knew who he was, and it was horrible. And if that's not MK Ultra, I don't know what is. That's all I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just saying. Okay. So what do we have? We have this guy. Well, what do you call that? For all you know, he could have sat there and said, you know what? I don't want to go through this. Nah. And he was about to, remember, there's in some cases when you abandon the conspiracy or attempt, how do you reverse an attempt? How do you reverse a conspiracy? Reversing the conspiracy is you have to do something almost substantive to remove yourself from this thing that you've been a part of. Attempt is also kind of something demonstrable, something you say, you know what? I've had it. That's not. Or he says, my goal was just to leave that there. I didn't want to kill anybody. That was my message, to leave a Russian, old, rusty, Russian, bolt action, whatever, and leave that there. And then, and a bag, a knapsack with ceramic tiles. And then that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to hurt anybody. I didn't want to kill anybody. That wasn't my thing at all. Not at all. Period. Disprove that. He doesn't have to say anything, by the way. He doesn't have to put on a. Because remember, the only two shots, this pow, were, I believe, Secret Service. And let me ask you something. I'm so glad they found this out, but can I tell you one story, one thing, and I'm so glad it happened, but it never really made any sense. Did you hear when they said that they saw this? First of all, there was, I don't know about you, but I would say, listen, Mr. President, yeah, listen, I hired some people. You did, yeah. Who are they? Well, they're kind of bad people, but they're on our side. We hired them. And I asked them, I said, listen, what would you do if you had to take out the president? Where would you go? And they said, well, let's look around the perimeter right here. And they would say, excuse me, what's this? Yeah, it's a big hole here. It's right next to what is this? Here. It's just like if you were in Butler, PA. On top of that roof, is that secured? And that, how about this? Dallas, Texas. Can you close that window? Yeah. And that went, why are we stopping and going here? And no, you want to go straight this way, out of the range. There's no reason for him to stop here, in front of all these buildings, which never really mattered, but theoretically. I mean, you don't have to be a genius for this. Everybody's a sniper. Logic will tell you, you kind of want to get a kind of an unobstructed view, and maybe you want to be as close to him as natural. Grassy knoll. Now, that's the place. That's where Lucien Sarti may have been with his frangible bullet, a.k.a. Badge Man, but they got old LS in 72 in Mexico City, but I digress. Okay, so this guy, I didn't say, did you see his reaction? Did you see it? Vito, by the way, says, I'm looking at I'm looking at watch like Gervais at the 2020 awards, the first award, when I think it's still 7 weeks until the election day. Oi. Oh, yes. In fact, dear friend, it's now, as we speak, 48 days. Oh, dear God. 48 days. Oh, my Lord. Dear God. Doesn't it just, back to what I was saying. So there's this other stuff. And they're doing everything. He's responsible. What? He's responsible because he mentioned the fact that they're eating cats in the Springfield. That's the reason. What? They tried to kill him because he mentioned cats? What? That's all we've got. That's all I've got. And the Charlottesville. It turned out to be bogus. They disputed. Okay, I know. And the tiki torches. Hey, Kamala, what? What's with the tiki torches? What? You keep saying tiki torches. Is this like a Polynesian theme? Like a Trader Vic's, like the poo-poo platter? Ding, 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 ding. They bring out the luau. Little Don Ho with the tiki torch. What's with the tiki torch? You keep saying tiki torch. Would you explain to us the significance? That's like saying, and they had Maglite flashlights. And they brought it, they had Maglite flashlights. And they had Maglite. Okay. No, okay, what's the significance of the Maglite? I have no idea. Well, what's the significance of the tiki torch? I don't know. They told me to say this. You keep bringing it up. I know I bring it up. I don't know what I don't know. We're lays. All right. They're doing everything. Laura Loomer. Who the hell cares? Yeah, but don't you understand? Is that all? Is that all you've got? It's all we've got. It's all we've got. Anybody want to talk about Kamala? No, God, no. Anybody want to talk about her? Did you hear that horrible, horrid debate or that interview she had with that Jadrul from, the poor guy from Philip. Mrs. Vice President, yeah. Watch me, work with me. Is there anything you'd like to say? Maybe that's kind of specific about maybe what you want to do. I was raised as a young child. Oh, Jesus. And I remember my mother would sometimes, rock us to sleep, and she would sing Bessie Smith to us. Excuse me, your mother is Indian. Yes, I know, but she sang, Big Mama Thornton. You ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. It was weird. It was strange, but it was still. And my sister and they are thinking, we're doomed. We're doomed. We are doomed. We are so doomed. And you haven't seen yet Tampon Timmy and JD Vance. Oh my God, is that going to be great? Okay, listen, my friends, and you shall hear. First, I want to do this to you. I want to do this. I want to do this to you. No, really, I want to do this to you. What I want to do to you, I want to remind you, first of all, that we're going to be leaving said this. And Mrs. L is going to be gearing up because she is bringing it. That's what we say in the biz. She's bringing it. That's what she's known as in the biz. She brings it. Her YouTube is on fire. Here is her link for you to go right after this. We're going to end up here. We're going to go right over there, okay? Because she is ready to go. And I'm telling you, she's bringing it. Crypto Domini says, in his own way, he says in social media, someone should off the POTUS. That's all they got. Well, his it doesn't matter what he says. He's just doing great. And you see what they're reading about Don Jr. with Kimberly Guilfoyle? Oh, who cares? Don't care. It's none of our business. None of our beeswax. So listen, Crypto Domini, thank you. George Lenz, thank you. Vito, Dr. Clona Steve, Dream Killer, thank you so much. We're practically neighbors, sort of. Crypto Domini, thank you. George Len, Nelson A, Freedom, thank you for your incredible insight. JTE, the Brad, Carla, the cooking CEO. Carla, we'd like to learn more about your cooking and your CEO status and the combination, how you've merged the two. We would love to hear the story behind that. Perhaps maybe you can send us an email or something so we can learn a little bit more about who is this person called Carla. All right, dear friends, look at this. Watching in Arkansas, an Arkansan. There's a picture of a cock right there as your thumbnail. Well, thank you so much for that. And I mean it sincerely. All right, dear friends, have a great day. Little eructation, little projectile flatus for you, just to lighten up the day. I'm going to be closing this down. We're going to be moving right over to Mrs. L. One more time, my friend. Here is her. Just pick this up. Because what she knows about Diddy, nobody knows. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And until then, my friends, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad.